the greatest podcast hosted by someone who knows so precious little about almost everything. A journey into the mediocre mind of an exceptionally average person. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
Welcome to the official episode 1 of Complaints and Observations. I am your host, Dave LaPointe. First of all, how about that intro, huh? Holy shit. Massive shout out to the voiceover guy. His name is Ken Marsiglia, and I found him on Fiverr. Familiar with Fiverr? Free ad for Fiverr, fiverr.com. All kinds of awesome people doing just small gig work. And Ken is a voiceover actor, and he fucking slayed that intro. I wrote it, he played with it, and we produced a baby of an intro. Isn't that fucking incredible? The music, though, the music's just, I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, but Ken doesn't know me, so I guess his bit at the end kind of makes some sense. But you know, I'm Dave LaPointe. I'm the host of the show. So, anyways, so yeah, episode 1. I'm going to talk about a few things today. Hopefully, enough to have you sit and listen for the entire, 20 minutes or so. Hopefully, it's not, way too long, but we'll see. But anyway, that's another thing too. I got to stop saying but. I got to stop saying I got to stop saying anyways. It's fucking terrible. So first thing I wanted to mention though, there is it's an is, not an R. There is an option to leave a voice message on the main page, the Spotify page. So when you click on like the episode page and scroll down, you'll see a link. And basically what I'm hoping for is your complaints, your observations, things that perhaps you wanted to discuss with me. I'm looking for people to have, a back and forth, talking about shit they don't like and shit that they've seen. But basically, looking for something to kind of jazz up the show a little bit. So I'm also going to be taking emails, show mail at complaintsandobservations.com. It's really fucking long. Watch your spelling because, I've fucked it up 1,000 times already and I've just started this damn show. So again, show mail at complaintsandobservations.com. I also have a horrible website. I wanted to say GeoCities there. I don't know how many people get the joke, but it's not quite a GeoCities email, but a website, I should say, but it's pretty close. Complaintsandobservations.com. I also have a Facebook page that I'm not going to touch, so don't go there. And there's a Twitter feed as well, comms and obs, OBS, pod, at comms and obs, pod. Because Complaints and Observations was way too long for Twitter. Go figure. So yeah, that's the gist. I got a YouTube page too, but I don't really foresee me doing too many videos. Who knows? Maybe we'll get really creative and wild since I have nothing but fucking time on my hands at the moment. So last night I busted out the smoker, tried to do some burnt ends. It's another one of these things that you go to a website or a recipe, say, hey, how do you smoke stuff? How do you use it? And everything's laid out in such a simple manner. Yet when I do it, I fuck it up. It's not, it's not that difficult. It's an electric smoker to boot. So all I have to do is put in these stupid pellets and some water, but apparently timing out with the temperature versus how many times I have to refill the water pan, how many times I have to add pellets to it. So either way, the taste of everything I made last night was fucking spot on. I mean, homemade barbecue sauce, dynamite. Homemade cheese sauce, dynamite. Homemade rub for said brisket, dynamite. Cooked it like a moron, but it was awesome. So that was great. So my general complaint there is with smoking meats, but the complaint is that I'm an idiot. So anyway, so first topic. One of the things that I wanted to discuss was television commercials. Now, look, it is it's a complaint that everybody has, but my general complaint with commercials has always been the production of said commercials. I don't understand how and why commercials are made the way that they are. And there has to be research for it. And I spent some time on the Google machine trying to figure out, hey, why are people told not to have their hands in their pockets or hold their hands in front of them when they're in front of a camera? I don't understand. The current Surgeon General, I believe, is just this poor guy. He's up there talking about COVID-19, and he keeps doing this thing with his hands in front of him, like rhythmically every 4 or 5 seconds. It's the thing with his hands, and it drives me fucking bonkers. What is the fucking point of that, sir? Just hold your hands in front of you. It's okay. No one's gonna judge you. We already judge you enough. We're not going to judge you anymore if you just hold your hands in front of you instead of shaking them like a fucking idiot. But I couldn't figure out why people are told to do that. I spent reasonable amount of time on the internet trying to find it, and as with most things I do, that reasonable amount of time is nanoseconds probably. But anyways, the other thing that kind of gets me with commercials is the pharmaceutical companies really need to take a step back for a multitude of reasons. One, no one should be that happy if they have to take Valtrex. Why would you be so pleasant and, holding hands with your loved one on a beach with a pair of nice brand new hiking boots as you're walking over the shoreline rocks, your kitschy flannel shirt, and big smile on your face as your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend is thinking, this dirty dish rag has herpes, but they take Valtrex, so everything's fine. I understand the need to advertise your product, but why can't you just simply say, hey, guy, girl, whomever, do you have the herp? Here's some Valtrex. This will help. End of commercial. Just there's too many pleasantries. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It should be a relief on their face, not a giant smile. They should be, the video should go. They get up in the morning, they go into their medicine cabinet. The camera has a nice close-up shot of the prescription bottle that says Valtrex. The person opens it up, takes one out, slowly inspects it, looks it over, pops it in the mouth, glass of water, down it goes, and then a gigantic deep sigh of relief. Like, oh, thank goodness for Valtrex. And that's the whole commercial. I just produced a commercial, not just for that particular drug, but literally every single drug on Earth. Well, mainly just in this country, because I can't imagine that, countries with actual health care need to advertise their medicine. But I'm not going to get political. So And then I need to know how much this thing costs. What does it actually cost to make this thing? And then how much of a bonus is the CEO going to get when my doctor prescribes this crap to me? There you go. And if you want to, apparently during my exhaustive research on Valtrex, it comes in cherry flavor. That's right. Maybe list the flavors. Maybe have multiple flavors. And why does cherry have a monopoly on medicine flavors? Is it too much to ask to have multiple flavors? What happens if someone is just completely disgusted by cherry, yet they need the Valtrex? What are you going to do? Okay, listen, I'm sorry, sir, but it only comes in cherry. I know that you don't like cherry, but oh, God, Doc, I mean, I really hate cherry. Well, you can do one of two things. You can live with multiple cold sores or just suck up the cherry. One of two things. Sorry. I just thought that was odd. And so that kind of, the observation there would be, I need to talk to somebody from a pharmaceutical company that kind of outlines their marketing. Why they do it this way, what sort of research have they done that says, hey, the smiley couple hiking along the Pacific Northwest, it sells more drugs. I mean, I need to know that. Wouldn't that make some sense? I don't know. So, if you or anyone you know is in marketing for a pharmaceutical company, please let me know. Let me know if they're hiring, but also let me know if they'd like to be on the pod, because I need an observation. So, my other complaint today, again, I'm calling it a complaint because otherwise it really wouldn't fall into line with the show. This is sort of an observation that I've had for a number of years. Seeing as today is May the 7th, and seeing as May the 4th has already gone by, this would have fit in nicely with May the 4th, but I had to wait for a handful of different things to fall into place before I could put this together. So anyways, this is a Star Wars bit, so if you don't like Star Wars, please feel free, turn it off, turn off the pod, but tell your friends who do like Star Wars, and you have them. You have multiple friends. You might even have a friend or two that is dressed up and gone to Comic-Con dressed up as, I don't know, Luke Skywalker. I was trying to think of like a better character, and I don't know, I'm on the spot here, and I'm not good at like prep for this thing. Like I have notes and stuff and what I want to say, but I don't know. Should I like write out the entire episode? That seems like a huge commitment. Good grief. But anyway, so I have a handful of observations that have been addressed in full on the internet. However, they are so obnoxiously detailed that it doesn't make sense. It's laughable. Like, for example, I've always wondered about, like, say, all right, so the Death Star it's a planet, okay? How many people are on this thing? I mean, when you watch the film, you only see, I don't know, maybe a few hundred, maybe 1,000. I mean, you'd imagine it would take a lot more people to run it. There are people that have really broken down the numbers to figure this out. And apparently, Kevin Smith also has talked about multiple times about the janitorial staff on the Death Star, which is fantastic because there has to be. But imagine being the lowly clone stormtrooper who, instead of, actually fighting or doing what they were sort of raised to do, they're scrubbing toilets. My guess is that every single stormtrooper has their own bathroom. There's no public restrooms on the Death Star. Imagine the stormtrooper has to take a leak in the middle of his shift. The amount of work it has to be to get the suit off, unless there's a flap on the front of that thing, some sort of, I don't know, screw on, Jesus, some sort of flap, on the front or the back. They're all, all the clones are guys, I think. If there's any aficionados out there, I'd love to have this discussion. Like, what is the actual sex of the clones? They're all cloned from Boba Fett, if I recall correctly, or Boba Fett's dad. I think it was Boba Fett's dad. I don't know. But I'd love to know. Yeah, so they would, and then they have to have their own living quarters, right? If they live like barrack style, that's a clusterfuck. That's all that is. So, the other thing, another observation I had, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all right? He flees to Tatooine, where he's going to hide out. He goes by the name Ben. So I'm like, what? Ben? All right, so he goes to Tatooine and he hides out, but everybody knows him as Ben Kenobi. My issue is, you had to change your first name, but Kenobi? Yeah, no problem, leave it. Yes, because I'm sure no one in the Empire is going to say, "Oh, look, they're flipping through the Jedi phone book, and they every now and again they go down to the caves like, I wonder if Ben Kenobi has a listed phone number." Phone books, folks, yeah. Remember those? Some of you don't. But so, anyways, they consult the Jedi phone book to try to find Kenobis, and sure enough, there's a Ben Kenobi on Tatooine. And whoever's looking at the phone book must, there's no way that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Next, let's go down to Skywalker. There's probably another one in here somewhere. So, Ben, perfect cover. And apparently he picked it because a Mandalorian who was in love with Obi-Wan used to call him Ben. However, that's never explained why. I had to do some real deep research here, which included a YouTube video of a dramatic reading of a Star Wars book that included this particular part. It was about 5 minutes. It was great. It was this British guy did the reading. This guy was awesome. Good for him. But he mentions it 4 minutes in that, I chose Ben because Satine used to call me that. But he never says why. Like, who is this given name Benjamin and he just never told anybody? Is that what's on his birth certificate? Benjamin Kenobi? And she's the only one that knew that. Anyway, so like Ben Smith. If there's a Ben Smith on Tatooine, nobody's gonna think it's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, no? But he sticks with Kenobi. I never understood that. 2 more things. 1, Princess Leia always had makeup on. Now, I understand it's the movies, you need to put makeup on people, but if I'm supposed to suspend belief that this is a galaxy, millions of miles away and however many years ago, where does this woman find the time to do her makeup? Does she just stop in the right before they head off to another planet? Han is waiting to get off the damn Millennium Falcon, and and he's like, Chewie, where the fuck is Leia? I'm fucking coming. She comes out and she's all done up. Like, oh, really? You had to waste all that time doing your fucking makeup? We have a goddamn empire to defeat here, and you're doing your makeup? I'd love to see that. That sort of squabble, which leads me to another, which is there's thousands of planets in this universe. Where is the small, inhabited, non-essential planet? What are they doing? Where neither side gives two shits about them, but obviously they know what's going on. Are they pissed that one of these sides hasn't come to their planet, to try to recruit them? Sort of the internal squabbles, political squabbles amongst various planets and regions. Local government. Like, who sets up the school system in each of these planets? I don't know. The last thing is Lando Calrissian. Who is his tailor? He's not making his own costumes, his own capes, suits. It's a lot of velvet. It's a very delicate fabric. Who's doing that? That's what I need, curious about that. So, same thing. If there's anybody that's a Star Wars expert, love to have that discussion. Let's talk. I'm sure you would have every single answer possible. But I would love to have that conversation. So, yeah. So that's that complaint or observation for the day. Free ad time. Free ad time. So, first free ad is going to go to Top Shelf Cookies, topshelfcookies.com. I love cookies. You probably love cookies. High quality, delicious, unique cookies. Celebrating local culture and themes and names honoring Boston traditions. Topshelfcookies.com. Don't tell her I sent you. Just buy some. All right. So yeah, that's about it for episode 1. As you can see, it's still very much a work in progress. The hope is that, again, I hear from some folks and try to come up with different complaints and topics to discuss. The good thing about currently starting a podcast in the middle of a quarantine is that everybody is probably available for the most part. We can spend a few minutes, spend as much time as you want. It looks like I can only do about 30 minutes at a whack. So, if I have to do like 2 parts, I could certainly do that. That'd be fun. But let me know. Get back to me. Shoot me an email. Leave me a voice message. Tell your friends. Subscribe. Rate. If you want to do the cliched unsubscribe, subscribe again. No, seriously. You should do that. That would be pretty cool. But tell your friends. Tell your parents. Tell your mom. Fan of moms here. Very pro mom. Love my mom. Hopefully she never hears this. But anyway, thank you so much. That is it. Episode 2. Hopefully Monday. See ya.